By the end of this lecture, learners will be able to define learning objectives and learning goals, describe the importance of well-designed objectives and goals, design learning objectives and learning goals, determine the main strategies for implementing learning objectives and learning goals. Hello everyone and welcome. This lecture explores the process of designing learning objectives and goals to align with effective teaching and quality learning. It focuses on the key principles and strategies for implementing objectives and goals that engage learners and create a dynamic learning environment. The aim is to foster the teaching-learning process that develops critical thinking, resonating with both teachers and learners. So, let's begin with this question. How would you define the key distinction between a learning objective and a learning goal? Learning objectives and goals are complementary concepts in effective instructional design. Objectives outline the specific, measurable learning targets for a lecture, lesson or unit, such as defining key terms or analyzing data. In contrast, goals represent the overarching aspirations that guide our instructional planning and inspire learners. Scholars have shed light on the multifaceted roles the learning objectives and learning goals play in shaping the educational landscape. Biggs and Tang, 2011, consider that learning goals are the broad, overarching intentions of an educational program. They describe the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values that students are expected to develop. Nilsson, 2016, claims that learning objectives are specific and detailed descriptions of what learners will be able to do as a result of instruction. They guide both the teaching process and the assessment of student learning. Suski, 2018, states that learning goals articulate the broad outcomes that educators aim for students to achieve. They are often aligned with institutional missions and educational standards, providing a roadmap for curriculum design. Learning objectives. Learning objectives are clear, concise statements that define what learners should know, understand, and be able to do at the end of a learning experience. Objectives typically begin with action verbs like define, analyze, or apply, and they provide concrete, observable endpoints that give structure and direction to our lessons. Defining learning objectives is a critical step in the instructional design process. These objectives serve as the foundation for planning a curriculum, learning units, and assessment strategies. They are the cornerstone of effective teaching and learning, guiding the teaching-learning process to the intended outcomes. The importance of well-designed objectives. Well-designed objectives are the basis for effective teaching and learning. When carefully crafted, objectives provide a focus for lesson planning, instructional strategies, and assessment. Teachers consider that designing learning objectives may 1. Provide direction. They guide the development of the curriculum, the selection of instructional materials, and the choice of teaching and learning activities. 2. Facilitate planning. They help teachers plan assessments that measure the achievement of the objectives. 3. Enhance engagement. Clear objectives can motivate learners by providing a clear target to aim for. 4. Enable evaluation. They serve as a benchmark for evaluating the effectiveness of the instructional process. Designing learning objectives. When approaching the task of designing learning objectives, there are several key considerations. 1. Specificity. Objectives should be stated in clear, unambiguous terms, outlining exactly what students are expected to know, understand, or be able to do by the end of the lecture, lesson or unit. 2. Measurability. Objectives should be quantifiable, allowing for the accurate assessment of student progress and mastery. This might involve identifying specific skills, concepts, or behaviors that can be observed and evaluated. 3. Achievability. Objectives should be challenging yet realistic, stretching learners' abilities without setting them up for failure. They should be aligned with students' prior knowledge and the available instructional time and resources. 4. Relevance. Objectives should be directly tied to the larger curricular goals and standards, as well as the real-world applications and significance of the content. This helps students understand the purpose and value of their learning. 5. Timeliness. Objectives should be bounded by a specific time frame, whether it's the length of a single lesson, a unit, or an entire course. This provides a sense of urgency and focus for both teachers and students. Learning objectives. Key benefits. A thoughtfully crafted learning objectives can provide key benefits. 1. Clarity and direction. Clear, specific objectives give both the teacher and learners a shared understanding of the expected learning outcomes. This provides a clear roadmap to guide the lesson planning process and ensure alignment between instruction and assessment. 2. Targeted instruction. With defined objectives, teachers can select the most appropriate instructional strategies, activities, and resources to directly support student mastery of the intended learning goals. This helps maximize the effectiveness of classroom time and efforts. 3. Meaningful assessment. Well-designed objectives facilitate the creation of targeted, relevant assessments that directly evaluate whether students have achieved the intended learning outcomes. This allows for meaningful measurement of student progress and mastery. 4. Student engagement and motivation. When students understand the purpose and relevance of their learning, as reflected in the objectives, they tend to be more engaged and motivated to meet the established goals. Objectives that challenge students while remaining realistic can foster a growth mindset. 5. Curricular alignment. Crafting objectives in alignment with broader standards and learning frameworks ensures that classroom instruction contributes to students' overall educational development in a coherent, purposeful way. Accordingly, prioritizing the development of clear, measurable learning objectives is essential for supporting the full potential of teaching and learning. This foundational element provides the structure and direction needed to create truly impactful educational experiences. Learning goals. Goals, on the other hand, are broader statements that set the direction for learning. They are the overarching targets that we aim to hit through the achievement of our specific learning objectives. Goals encompass multiple learning objectives and align with school, district, or national educational standards and priorities. They inspire and motivate students by highlighting the significance and relevance of the content. While objectives focus on mastery of specific skills and concepts, goals consider learners developing essential competencies like effective communication, collaboration, and digital literacy. Strategies for developing meaningful learning goals. Practitioners state that crafting impactful learning goals that resonate with learners and align with broader educational priorities requires a strategic and comprehensive approach. Here are some key strategies to consider. Linking goals to real-world applications and societal issues. Emphasize the relevance and significance of the content. Identify pressing problems demanding innovative solutions. Determine the essential skills and dispositions needed for 21st century success. Ensure goals are aligned with broader educational priorities. Harmonize with relevant standards, frameworks, and initiatives. Invite students to actively participate in the goal-setting process. Co-create goals that reflect students' hopes and visions. Foster a growth mindset and a love of learning. Examples of well-designed learning goals. Novice and future teachers may design their learning goals following the proposed examples. Learners will develop a deep understanding of key scientific principles and their applications in addressing global sustainability challenges. Learners will become effective communicators and collaborators, able to work productively in diverse teams to solve complex, authentic problems. Learners will develop a lifelong passion for learning, constantly seeking opportunities to expand their knowledge and skills to positively impact their community and the world. Adopting these key principles and customizing them to various teaching and learning situations will help teachers create learning opportunities that ignite curiosity and foster critical thinking. Conclusion. The process of designing impactful learning objectives and goals is one of the most crucial elements in the art of teaching. Objectives are specific and measurable, providing the roadmap for particular lectures or lessons. Learning goals are broader and more aspirational, setting the overarching vision for student learning and development. Both are essential components of effective instructional design. Adjusting the sensitive balance between learning objectives and goals is the ultimate aim of instructional design. Lack of clear objectives and goals can make learners feel lost, hindering their ability to understand the greater purpose guiding their learning. Teachers can craft learning objectives that serve as the foundation for meaningful, engaging, and effective instruction. With a clear roadmap in place, teachers can confidently guide their learners towards mastery and prepare them for future success.